a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
And welcome to the show. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Greatly appreciate you spending some time with us here, supporting the Consumer Quarterback Show and all of our expert contributors. It really means the world to us when we get those phone calls, those emails, and text messages coming through saying, hey, good job, keep up the good work. Thank you for that. We really appreciate it. It means the world to us. And we've got Thomas King in studio with us, Florida Firearms Academy. He is our Second Amendment expert contributor. We're going to talk with him about some of his events. We got classes coming up. He was also a speaker. He's an amazing speaker. So if you're looking to book a speaker, talk to him. He spoke at the 2A Freedom Fest just recently. Also, Dr. Scott Anderson in studio as well. Share the Love Charities. He is an awesome speaker as well. We're going to talk with him about the mental health crisis in the United States. We're going to talk about some of his YouTube videos as well. He's got some great videos on his channel. And later on the program, we got James from Lake Brothers in the house as well, coming up here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Great lineup for you here. And we always like to feature our real estate listings live on air. That's coming up. But before we do, I want to remind you about our Third Thursday event on the 21st, March 21st. Third Thursday, you are invited. Come on out, meet some of our expert contributors, some of our radio show personalities. 6 o'clock over at Brio Tuscan Grill, International Plaza Mall. Excellent food, wonderful ambiance, and we're going to be over at Brio on the 21st. It's the Third Thursday event. We're doing it every third Thursday, so come on out and meet with us. 6 o'clock over there at West Shore Boulevard, 2223 North West Shore Boulevard, Brio Tuscan Grill. Now, that's our restaurant partner as well. Plus, we have these awesome meetup groups. So we're going to have a meetup networking opportunity for you over at Brio Tuscan Grill. That's the 21st. Save the date. And a couple of hot listings here from the Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty. We got a great beachfront listing for you. This is a beautiful property, 18522 Gulf Boulevard. This is Unit F, Indian Shores, Pinellas County. What a wonderful opportunity. Now, what I love about this property, 3 bedrooms, 3 bath, 2,000 square feet. It's updated as well, granite countertops, mosaic backsplash. But there's a couple of key takeaways, key points here. Number one, only a $250 a month HOA, super low condo fee, HOA fee, and you have a heated pool still, heated pool on the beach. You are not walking across the street. You are on the beach here. Now, secondly, you can short-term rent this property. It's an Airbnb, VRBO type property. You can rent it out short-term. There's no restrictions against that. And then I love the balcony view. You look at the intercoastal waterways there, looking out the right-hand side. You look out to the left. You're looking at the sugar sand beaches, dolphin-filled waters of Indian Shores. 18522 Gulf Boulevard, Unit F. $1 million listing from the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. Also, 232 Hardcastle Place in Valrico. We've got a entry-level, kind of an affordable opportunity here on Hardcastle Place in Valrico. Great opportunity to own real estate. This is 2 bedrooms, 2.5 bath, bonus room, 1,560 square feet. You have granite countertops. This has a laundry room upstairs as well, access to a community pool. 232 Hardcastle Place, Valrico, Florida. And you can see all of our listings at PlatinumCoastalElite.com. Check out PlatinumCoastalElite.com. Thomas King in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Thomas, welcome in, sir.
Hey, great to be here today. And that Brio meeting that we had last, absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Great job with that.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, a lot of fun, man. I enjoy getting together, and we don't get to see everybody enough, you know?
You know, the neatest part about it was meeting so many people, the eclectic group that you gathered around.
Yeah.
So many cool things that I learned from these guys. So I got their cards and everything. We networked together, and we're actually going to all be doing business together. So
yeah,
great network to meet up. So I'd say all your listeners, come on out. You're going to meet some amazing people.
Yeah, absolutely, man. A lot of fun, free food. We're going to have appetizers there. Got a cash bar, and
would you let anyone buy you a beer if they did come out?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so there you go, you guys. You heard it here.
There we go.
As long as it's not Budweiser.
Yeah, there you go. We got to stick with the non-Mulvaney
right.
beers, which I don't know. They're all like multinational corporations these days. Like, what do you buy? What do you get? Right.
So I was at 2A Freedom Fest. That was up North Florida here. They had a good group going out there. Marty and I, my vice president, we stayed out there. We spoke. We gave a little bit of word. We basically talked about what we need to do to have the kids the next generation of shooters be responsible, be honorable, and respectful. And, you know, when I started at Mary Help a Christian shooting, I think I was like 5 or 6 years old. My dad took me out shooting when I was just a little kid. So you learned about, you know, the honors and respect about the firearm.
Right.
And that's what kept it real for all of us. And that's what we press towards when we have kids shooting teams or kids safety classes at the store. We do that free of charge. We want to make sure that you understand the safeties. If you come across one, what do you do? And that's where kids get themselves into trouble. They find it. They don't know what they're doing with it. They grab the firearm. They put their finger on the trigger. And next thing you know, there's some type of accident.
Yeah, and you talk about honor and respect. I love those values. And I remember one of my first lessons was if you shoot it, you eat it. You know, so I remember shooting a rabbit one time. It's like, okay, well, you got to eat the rabbit now. There you go.
Absolutely. Well, every round that comes out of that firearm, you are held accountable and responsible for. So that's what we want to make sure when we teach kids firearm safety. We teach them the 4 rules. We go over everything. We make sure it all becomes muscle memory. And, of course, you know, afterwards, the meeting and everything out there, I had all these anti-gun people come up and question me, and it was nice because we actually had a conversation and we really got to talk. So, you know, if you're just going to yell and shout at me, then I'm not going to give you the time of day. But if you really want to know, so they came up and I said, well, how many, and let's say a couple years ago, how many people were shot with a rifle? And some of them said 10,000, 100,000.
Right.
And I said, actually, it was 396 people were shot with a rifle.
Right.
And that's still a lot of people, 396, but you're 0.00001%.
Yep.
And then you're at the point where knives, you're 19 times more likely to stab by a knife than shot with a rifle.
Wow.
So then I asked, well, that year, how many people do you think were killed by a firearm? And their answers were, most of them were, 300,000, 100,000. Well, it was 30,000, and that's what they grouped together. And some of them knew that answer, but 30,000 people, about 60% of that is suicide. So they want to add that in there so it looks like a huge number.
Right.
And then you add in if the police shooting people, so then you got another 30% of that, and then you have a gang related. So it really comes down to a small minuscule of people that are actually really doing it to themselves as murder. But when I really talked about this, I said, do you all know how many times from the CDC, not from me or from what their predictions were or records were for how many times was a firearm used to save a life? And they said, well, maybe 50,000. Well, it was over 500,000 to 3 million people. That's just pulling a firearm out and say, hey, step back, I have something.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a shooting or anything. So
yeah,
it's way far more greater to have a firearm to protect yourself than that's actually going on in these shootings that they're predicting out there. And they're actually taking those statistics away from Google. They don't want you to know these things. So you have to print that out, that it was already printed, but you never know. Today, the world's just backwards.
Yeah, it really is. In a lot of ways, it surely is. And you look at, when you looked at what happened in Australia, right? They took away the guns a few years back, and just the tyranny and despotism that was running rampant in Australia and just in other places in the world too. I mean, you look at Nazism and communism; it's all control, and that's what they're getting for. The left in this country is pushing for that type of control because it's much easier to govern when you only have one voice.
That's why they like the control. That's why they like big companies, the government on this side. They hate small businesses.
Yep.
They can't control us. There are over 30 million small business owners, right? They can't control us. We do what we do. Well, you have like these giant corporations. They're not treated the same as us small business owners. So it's so hard for us to keep pushing forward unless we follow their agenda and their rules, and then they don't have to pay taxes, whereas we do.
Yeah, exactly. They really beat up on us as small business owners. Folks, we're talking with Thomas King. He's the owner of Florida Firearms Academy right here in beautiful Tampa Bay. He's got an awesome location right there in Oldsmar, Florida, close to Racetrack Road. They hold lots of fun events. They have awesome classes where you can go and learn awesome classes. Great social media presence as well. Thomas, you do a lot of giveaways online as well. Very involved with charitable organizations also.
That's right. Right now, we're giving away a beautiful Colt 1911 45 ACP. This is the competition series, and all proceeds are going to go to the Fraternal Order of Police for the fallen, for widows and their kids, because you don't think about that, but this past 2 years, many officers have lost their lives. over stupid, crazy stuff that should not have happened.
Yep.
And the families are left there to grieve, and they don't have an income coming in. That's where most businesses need to step up, because the government's not just going, here you go, you're going to be set for life now. They don't get paid crap, right? First off, to put their life on the line, and then they're not taken care of even if they do fall. So we have to put that together. Come on out to Florida Firearms Academy. For $10, you can get a chance to win this. All proceeds will go to benefit them.
And when is that?
We're going to do a live drawing. It started now, but a live drawing will be June 14th. I will be at the Fraternal Order of Police's conference, and you'll see me do it on there. And what we want to do is make sure that these parents, or the parents, not even just the parents, but the wives or the husbands that have lost someone, that they're actually well taken care of.
Yeah, that's a worthy cause, and Thomas is always involved in those types of things. I mean, if you look at some of his events that he's done recently, the line wraps around, and people love it. They love to hear you talk about it, and you gave a really awesome speech. Can you give us kind of a little insight or a condensed version of that speech you gave the other day when we were at your location? You had that last event. So the very finale of that was super awesome. It was super cool, man.
It was crazy, but when I first came there, we had 5 guns for sale. Everything was broken, and it reminded me of the story in the Bible of the 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish, and how Jesus multiplied that to feed over 5,000 people, and that's basically what we happened here. And that money that we actually raised to that, just this week, this Sunday, I was at church. They were so happy for us because they were able to buy all brand new chairs for the church, and they came over and thanked me. So that wasn't just me. That's everyone in our community that came out, that actually helped. The Quanas were there. The COC was there. The SCA was there. We had so many people that just came out. The Veterans of Foreign Wars, the Fraternal Order of Police, and then, so many customers there. But I did say at the end that the hard part is, it says in the Bible to turn thy cheek, but we had David kick Goliath's ass to protect the ones that he needed to protect. So,
right.
Yeah, so that's what you have to do. You have to protect your own. And right now, what we're seeing in this society and this government that's pushing forward, the cat's out of the bag. They basically said it, and it's making all other governments around the country go, wow, what is really going on? We basically said we can print more money. We just gave $100 billion over to Ukraine, another $100 billion. And, we're about to shut down the country last week because what? We don't have enough money. We can't come up with a budget. But we're giving away hundreds of billions of dollars. It's all a scam. So they can print more money, right? So why do they really need our tax money? They don't. They don't need our tax money. They can just print more, right? Can't they? Because it's just paper backed by paper. That's why BRICS was invented. And they're going to use this currency, and they're going to try to shut down our currency because that is backed by gold. And that's what's scary. That's why so many people are coming in right now. Our classes are packed. They know an election's coming up. You know what happens at election time. And this is going to be in a crazy election. But they don't know where their currency is going to. That's also terrifying. We don't know if it's going to be worth $1 or it's going to be worth 1 cent. So.
Yeah, it's a challenge. The BRICS nations are coming together. More and more people are joining the BRICS nation, and it's a big factor. And then you mentioned Ukraine. I was listening to another podcast, and it's talking about how BlackRock, again, these multi-trillion-dollar companies. These companies have never been that big. $10 trillion is the amount of money under assets under management. But BlackRock, State Street, Vanguard, some of these big companies. So the game plan is let's tear Ukraine apart. We don't care what happens to their male generation. They're not going to be able to reproduce. I mean, how many men are getting killed? And then the same with Russia as well. They're losing a lot of people as well. But they want to build it back. They're looking to build back better, right? Remember the whole slogan of build back better? They're going to build back better over there. That's what they're going to do. We got to leave it right there for this segment. We're going to come back more with Thomas King, Florida Firearms Academy. Go to his social media. Follow him online. Follow us online at Brandon Rhymes1 at CQB Show. And we're going to talk more with Thomas King, our Second Amendment expert contributor. And I got a clip I'm going to play too. They're flying in. Not only are they crossing the border, they're flying migrants in by the tens of thousands now. This is the latest report coming out. We'll be right back.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. Please make sure to send him all of your real estate deals and subscribe to the Consumer Quarterback Show podcast on iTunes and Spotify, or check out our YouTube channel. Have a blessed day.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 727-263-3707. Online at consumerqb.com.
Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes, owners of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams. Buying, selling, investing in real estate, their nationwide Keller Williams network makes them the best team to work with. Sellers, have your property featured live on air, creating multiple offers. Buyers, leverage a unique system that gets your offer accepted, never overlooked. Call or text 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550, or consumerqb.com.
I want to give a special thanks to Satellite Phone Store. They just hooked me up with this beautiful satellite phone, and it's a gorgeous phone. It's a great device. It's a safety device as well. Think about it. If you're out on the boat 40, 50 miles out, maybe you're going hunting or you're going hiking in the woods somewhere, you run out of cell phone service, or who knows, maybe a possible terrorist attack. It's not like our politicians aren't entrenched in all this stuff going on overseas, all over the place, all over the world. Could be a terrorist attack. They could attack the power grid. They could attack the cell phones. Who knows what they're going to attack next. Sat123.com/REQB. Sat for satellite. Sat123.com/REQB, like real estate quarterback.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
All right, Brandon Rhymes here in studio with Thomas King, Florida Firearms Academy. We're going to talk more about some of the events they have. Our Second Amendment expert contributor, Thomas King, in the house. Before we do, a couple of hot listings here. We like to feature our properties on air. We've got a property at 6901 46th Avenue North, St. Petersburg. This is another great listing from the Platinum MVP team. St. Petersburg, this is a commercial property, corner lot location. It is a mixed-use building as well. So up front, you have commercial. In the back, you have a residential opportunity. So you could live on site, have a manager maybe. 6901 46th Avenue North, St. Petersburg, corner lot, 50,000 plus vehicles a day passing by. Great opportunity to own real estate here in Tampa Bay. Also, 2107 Palmasola Boulevard, number 94. Palmasola is a property that we have in Bradenton. This one's in Manatee County. Great opportunity to own real estate. And you can see all of our listings at PlatinumCoastalElite.com. Check out PlatinumCoastalElite.com. Somewhere sunny and 75. All right, we got Thomas King in the house, Florida Firearms Academy. We've got lots of events coming up, social media. You definitely want to connect on their social media. Classes available as well. I wanted to play this quick clip here about, we've known that there's been a pileup of migrants at the border. We've seen the video, but I think a lot of Americans didn't realize they're actually utilizing this phone app. They're flying them in from other countries, bypassing the border altogether, flying in hundreds of thousands, 320,000 migrants is the latest report. Here's the clip.
Now, broadening out here a bit, a report surfaced on Monday about hundreds of thousands of migrants being flown directly to American cities from other countries. Tell us about that.
Yes, Todd Bensman, writing at the Center for Immigration Studies, reported that 320,000 inadmissible migrants had flown directly into the U.S. in 2023 alone. Now, that was mostly facilitated by the CBP One cell phone app, which is a U.S. government program. CIS was able to confirm that 43 U.S. airports have received these migrants. However, the government has refused to disclose the names of those airports.
Disgusting, isn't it? I mean, it's just crazy. They're using our cell phone. They're using the cell phone app provided by our American taxpayer dollars to fly these people in.
This is treasonous.
It is.
I mean, why isn't people going to jail for this? This is exactly why we have our firearms, because once your government turns against you, this is all your money that you're paying. I work 6 months out of the year to give that money to the government, so they could do this.
Yeah,
so they
exactly.
And then you're going to yell at us about carbon copies, and you're taking planes,
carbon taxes,
and flying them over here. That's just disgusting to me.
And the veterans, meanwhile, poor veterans, poor senior citizens. I mean, homeless people on the streets. It's unbelievable.
So you just had 10 million people cross the border. Where are all these people in the governments that were screaming, "You got to have your vaccine. You're gonna lose your job. You're gonna be fired."
Yep.
And you're letting all these people that aren't vaccinated in?
Another great point.
So this is just terrifying.
Yeah.
It just shows that it was all a scam.
Yeah, it was.
So
Absolutely.
They just wanted to divide everybody, fire you up. There was people, I'd go to the grocery store and they're like, "Where's your mask at?" And they're screaming at you because they made it terrifying.
They're scared.
It was. It was scary.
They're gullible.
And you're going to lose your job. Look at all the people in military, law enforcement that lost their job. And now that they asked them, "Oh, you can come back now," they said, "No, you know what? If you did it once, you're going to do it again."
Yeah, I had a recruiter call me on the phone asking for my daughter, who they said was they said the wrong gender on the phone, and I said, "Look, I wouldn't have my kid go to the military for any amount of money right now." So with your wokeness going on, I told the recruiter that. I was like, "See ya."
Is it I don't even know. Is it brainwashing over there, or what is really going on? I can't believe that they're flying people in. Well, I guess I can, because now our resources, our money, our jobs are going to be scarce now. And that's you that are going to work 3 months out of the year to give all your money to someone else that can live here.
Yeah.
And I bet a lot of these are just empty. These countries are emptying out their jails, their prisons. They say, "Hey, go on over there." I was just in El Salvador, and that president over there cleaned that whole place up. Put 60,000 MS-13 people in jail. They went house to house, and the rest of them now, they all said, fled over to America.
Yep.
So they're here.
Yeah, they're here. They're here. The mental asylums, everybody, they're here. And like you said, it's a challenging year. So we've got to be diligent. We've got to be careful. We've got to be carrying our concealeds. We got to be getting in the classes at Florida Firearms Academy. Where's the location, Thomas? What's the address?
We're at 13317 West Hillsborough Avenue. We're just east of the Oldsmar Flea Market there. But you can also find us at Florida Firearms Academy on Facebook, or give us a call at 813-221-FIRE.
Yeah, and the social media is awesome. Check out his social media. I was actually sharing an event, something, I don't remember the exact post, but it was something to do with guns or Florida firearms. It might have been that 2A Freedom Fest, and they blocked me. They shadow banned me. They stopped me from posting for a certain amount of time. I think it was Instagram this time, but Meta. But yeah, it's challenging because you have banking issues too, right?
Oh yeah, that's the scam that I have to go through. If I post something up about a gun or so, your account's been banned for a day or 24, or we're going to take your account down. This is what someone found that picture, right? But here's the thing. This is why it's all a scam. They have child porn everywhere out there.
Yep.
They can't find that and take that down. That is everywhere. But you find my little post of something that I say, patriotic. Oh, we're banning you for that.
Yeah.
That's why there's an agenda. That's why this is all a scam.
One last point, too, on the illegals coming across. Some people call them migrants. I call them illegals because that's what they are. They're legally crossing our country. Is what if there's a plan to hand them AR-15s, guns, handguns of all types, right? What if there is a plan for that? And it could be an inside job. Who knows? I'm just pontificating here.
Right. And you know what? Well, let's say there's 20 terrorist attacks in the next 4 months.
Right.
Now, whose blood on their hands is that from?
Right.
Our leader, number one job is to protect our border.
Yep.
And this is treasonous right here. I cannot believe this is happening. Flying people across here. What do we do if we can't do anything? If no one stands up and says, "Hey, look, you got to step down for this." I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, whatever. If whatever you are, if you're only voting for a person because you're an R or a D, well, then you're not voting for the right person. Vote for the person that does stuff for the people, that takes care of the people.
That's right, for the people, and it's God-given rights. It's not government-given rights. It's our rights to stand up and protest and do what we need to do. And that's the challenge, is the left will protest a lot more aggressively than the right will, than the conservatives. Thomas, how do you want people to connect with you?
Just, come on out and see us. But I just want to say, hey, God bless you. Stay strong. Stay connected. Make sure you listen to the Brandon's Rhymes show. Thank you, Brandon, for having me on your show, and for good patriots like you in America.
Absolutely. My pleasure, and likewise to you, my friend. FFATampa.com. Check Thomas out at FFATampa.com. Coming up, Dr. Scott Anderson in the house. Share the Love Charities. We're going to talk with him around mental health happenings in the United States of America right here. Coming up on the Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com.
This is Warwick Dunn, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show, hosted by my man, Brandon Ryan.